Good morning. Today is the 11th of June 2026 and I'm going to go through my pre-market prep. Before we do, we like to see what news could or has moved the market today. And the 11th, we had 8:30 high. We had a high volatility event, core PPI and unemployment claims. We had a bit of a reaction to that. 8:30. We had a bit of an indecision candle, a big push down, big push up, and we're kind of sitting in the upper end of that news event. So nothing really too eventful. So we'll just get straight on. Later on today, we've got natural gas at 10:30, and then the 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. 1 minute past 1 p.m. Don't know why it's always like that. So just be wary of the 30-year bond auctions. That can cause the market to move around that time, even though it says low volatility. Welcome back, Craig, and welcome back to everybody else. Appreciate everyone coming back. Just a very quick congratulations to Craig as well. He said he passed his funded account, which is good. Well done. I saw your message earlier in the Discord. In fact, something strange, well, not strange, I actually passed the eval yesterday as well, bringing me up to 60 paid accounts. I didn't even realise I'd even passed it until today. Again, I don't really look at my P&L that often, so that is a nice surprise. Wake up, see my email with saying congratulations. I'm not actually paid for it yet, so that's one of my jobs for today. So I'm just going to be trading 5 paid accounts today, no evals. The eval I was trading, which has passed, that's an old legacy one, so I'll convert that to a paid account today, and that's one I want to try and keep hold of because they don't have the payment caps on there like they do on the new accounts. So if you're an Apex user, now is a good time. I'm pretty sure, hang on, let's just double check. They had a sale ending as it ended. Oh no, they got a new sale, 90% off. It seems to always be on sale at the moment. 90% off, ends in 11 days. So, and what I do like is that you can get 50k accounts for less than $19 per account if you buy the packs of 5. So I really do recommend going down that route. It works out a lot cheaper. And yeah, and I think $19, 5 accounts. So you don't forget, use my code for that as well. I get a little bit of a kickback, and also you get up to 90% off the actual value. Craig says 66 is amazing. I think that's what he meant. I figured out how to get my footprints to show the delta on the top like your chart. Good job. Craig, what footprint software do you use? I think you did say it's one of the was it Sierra Chart or one of those? I think you said Quant, or was it Quant Tower or something like that? So anyway, so let's get cracking on with the levels for today. I'm going to start off with the weekly as we're getting near to the end of the week. Nice to see where we are. I'm going to get rid of that weekly head and shoulders just because it makes it a bit clearer. So look at this. So we had below average volume or at average volume for these big moves up, and some of these candles were really wide range candles as well, and then we had that weakness at the high, lack of buyers. RSI was sitting up there as well, and then we had that sell off last week, and we're kind of looking like we might put in a red. It's indecision candles. So at one point we had a big red week and we had buyers come back in as well, and we're kind of sitting around there. We have the significant thing is we've broken that area there, which is that 7,300 area. We've got below that volume shelf. We haven't got major volume, so we get back down into this area here, 7,000. So that's got to be a good target to have if we're looking for a short. I'm contemplating taking a short today. Hey Ron, you noticed? Thank you. I thought you might notice. I did it for you. So everybody, this is Ron Pearson's a comedian and he joins us every day. And this is a t-shirt he sent me. So go check out on his website, Ron Pearson Comedy. I think that's .com. So thank you. I'm glad you noticed. I put it on especially for you today. So anyway, so that's the area we need to be watching, 7,000. If we do start seeing a bit of a sell-off, we're starting to take out these confidence levels as well, which is great. So let's keep an eye on where we are right now. Dropping down to the daily, we can see that downtrend we drew in. We're holding this 50 moving average. We've got the bottom of the pivots there, and we've got the bottoms of the pivots there. That's our confidence we've broken, and that's that neckline we said we were particularly waiting for. I kind of like the head and shoulders pattern, but we didn't put in this left shoulder as such. We kind of we could say that was the right shoulder, but it wasn't as clear as this left shoulder, so maybe we could still say it is. We definitely broke it, we definitely retested it, but we're hovering around that 50 moving average. We're not in a daily downtrend really until the 50 breaks, so that's something to keep an eye on. That's when we lose institutional support. If we do break that area, we've got this massive big volume shelf, big area of confidence, and that's that level we're watching, 71.50. So that's an area to keep an eye on. Good morning to 212, welcome back. So daily RSI, we kind of were overbought, and then we are now well below oversold, getting down into that oversold area. But let's see what happens. You know, when we're sitting in the midpoint area, we might just see some grinding down or just some sideways action. Looking further out, we can see that area of 7,000, that big psychological, and that's where the main volume is. We know that, we saw that on the weekly. So that is a potential target to watch for if we can close below that 50. I'll be keeping an eye on that. Little volume shelf there, big area of confidence. You would expect that around 71.50. We just talked about that. If we see some push up today from buyers, we can keep an eye on that potential neckline area again, 73 to 7,400 for a potential rejection. So that's the areas, that's kind of what I'm watching for. Can't see anything more exciting. One thing to note as well on the daily is the selling and buying volume. Notice the red candles have higher volume days than the green candles. We've got a big volume day above average. We don't really get much above average volume. We had that green candle here. We had a green candle there, big indecision candle as well. Let's see how we end today, and obviously we've got one more day this week. So that's the daily, just a quick outlook. As for trend lines, we have not needed to draw this trend line, but I'm going to draw it now. That's an area to watch. So potentially, if we do start selling off, we can keep an eye on an area down here for a bounce. And now we've got two pivots in place. I've ignored it for now because obviously we've been way up here and we're not going to get down there anytime soon. But we can keep an eye on this area. We may just pull back down, or we may just go sideways and hit that 7,000. So just keep an eye. That area there is an area we're watching anyway. So dropping down to the hourly, let's pick up some levels for today. We are still holding this trend line. Let me extend that down. Trying to just do the bodies, the most touches of candles around about there. What stands out the most is this big volume shelf, big area confidence, and that bear flag we watched. So for me, I'm going to keep an eye on that 7,400 for a rejection anywhere in that zone. So keep an eye on 7,400. We do also have a little volume shelf here, the starting of this big major volume area. Bottoms of pivots, bottoms of pivots, bottoms of pivots, and then we've got this area of confidence. So for me, if we get back up into that 73.65, that's a new level I put in today. So obviously you recognize some of the numbers. I do like that area as well for a rejection. If we head back down into this 72.50 area, we can watch this area for a bounce. We bounced there on, what day was that? Tuesday. We bounced there in the post market last night. And every time we got there, we had a big reaction. We got there, we had a big reaction. Let's see what happens when we get back down to that 72.50 again. So that's the area to watch for, that area there. And obviously we'll be running with this trend line. If we break that area, we can watch for a break and retest off that trend line as well. And that's pretty much it for major levels. We've got 7,300, we bounced as well. Excuse me, this area where we are right now, we're coming into it. An area of confluence with a bottom pivot, bottom pivot, bottom pivot, topping tail, and then bottom tail, and then bottom tail. So we know that's a major area. We've reacted there several times, even though we've broken it afterwards. So let's see, we may have already had the reaction. We may just break down. If we're looking at ORBs today, my dilemma is I like the break over pre-market high long, and I like that for a break and retest anyway, but we're coming into that trend line and we're coming into that 73.65 confidence area, and we're coming into all this volume. So just a quick reminder of how we play our ORBs. We're inside yesterday's range. We're inside the previous day's range. So just be wary of that. So we're inside 2 days ranges at the moment. So for me, it'd be scalping only. Maybe look for a scalp, looking for 1, 2, 3R if we go long, knowing that there's a trend line above and a level we're watching. However, if we can break down and break both pre-market low at 72.22 and yesterday's low at 72.75, sorry, start again, 72.88 and 72.85, that area here, if the ORB sets up and closes below both of them, I like it for a short, for continuation of this downtrend we've seen on the hourly. We've got our first target, that area 72.50, and then our next target will be 7200. So that's why I like the ORB short today, going with the trend. And that is pretty much levels on ES for me. Pretty much there, yep. Okay, moving on to SPY. We've got our trend line in place there. We've got areas similar to ES. So I like this area, big volume shelf, areas of confluence. We had reaction after reaction after reaction. So let's see what happens when we get back up to 737, around that area, 736, 737 for rejection. If we break 732, pre-market high, I like it for a break and retest long. Keep an eye, we're coming into this zone where we had areas of confluence. And then obviously, same as ES, if we can get below pre-market low, yes, I like it for a break and retest short as well. Or if the ORB sets up down that area. Keep an eye on previous day's lows as well at 722. SPX, yesterday we closed inside the previous day. So we are going to be opening up, where are we going to be opening? Closer to yesterday's low, probably where we are right now actually. We're going to be opening up in this area by the looks of it. So just be wary of that overhead volume. Look at all these bottom tails, bottom tail, bottom tail, bottom tail. So for me, that's an area to watch for a potential rejection into that area to continue this downtrend. Reason I like that, we've got all this liquidity and we've got this volume shelf up here as well. So keep an eye on 7,300 basically. It's a psychological number. Let me mark that up because I like putting psychological numbers on this chart. So psychological number 7,300. The next one down will be 7,200. Keep an eye on that. Obviously, if we push all the way back to 74, watch out for rejection. Look how good that rejection was yesterday. Came straight into that area. Again, I only play SPX only when I'm looking for a ES. I keep an eye on SPX. I do not want to be going long into a psychological number above because it could act as resistance. I don't want to be going short into a psychological number below or a previous day's level as well. So that's one to keep an eye on. Oh, thank you, Craig. Thank you for being so patient and a great teacher. I really appreciate that. That's a lovely, lovely gesture. So thank you. I've made my day. Thank you very much. So Craig's on a high, past the paid account as well, which is great. So I'm really pleased. And it's good that we can get together like this as a community and we can help each other. And I'm really chuffed. And we've had a few good passes this week. I know Sonny also passed, Craig's passed. And the next step is for taking these paid accounts into the money as well. Lots of money, not just the odd payment here and there, which I've been doing. I really want to push really hard for, taking it thousands and thousands of dollars at a time. And that's why we work so hard. And that's why we stick strictly to our risk management and our mental toughness. And we just treat the accounts like it's gold dust. It's really easy to get an account and blow it. So we've got to really, really treat them with a lot of respect. And that's why I made a slight change. I think I'll talk about when the market opens, but I made a slight change. I'm just using MES accounts now. I've got a slightly lower risk as well because I don't really want to be trading high risk. And the new Apex accounts, not the legacy ones, the new Apex accounts only lets you trade up to 20 MESs at a time. So that's all I'm doing. So way below that. So really good. It's been a good week for everyone. And it's been a totally green week for me as well. I don't think I've had a losing day yet. No, I don't think I have. No, all green. So I don't have many red days, but it hurts. The only time I have red days is when the market's doing this. It's sitting up here and we're just going sideways and it's really tough trading. But days like this with volatility, these are the days we really love. And as you recall, how excited I was on Friday or Monday when I saw this big sell-off, because it gives us areas of confidence, gives us nice volume shelves we can trade from, and it gives us nice areas. So that's what we love. We don't like going into all-time highs unless you're a long-term holder, you know, looking to make as much as you can. We love it when it pulls back because it gives us extra areas of confidence and it gives you lots of volatility in the market. So anyway, NASDAQ next. And again, thank you, Craig. I appreciate your generous gesture, and appreciate your excellent comments as well. So it does make my day when I get really nice feedback like that. NASDAQ next, 30,000 is way up here. Looking at the next psychological number, 29,000. That's the one I was looking for. That area, I haven't got it marked up. I'm going to mark it up now, just so we've got it in our mind. So 29,000, we came into that in the pre-market within a few points of that. So I'm happy to say we came into that and we rejected. So keep an eye on that for a rejection. We got 28,000 below, we're a bit away from that. But looking at the trend line, let's just draw it in. This trend line here. If we push back up, we've got that 29,000. Looks like a nice trend line rejection as well. We also have this massive big volume shelf, big area confluence. We broke it. Look, notice how we broke that confluence, came back, retested it short. It's pre-market. Broke it during regulars, came back, retested it again in pre-market. So it is a key area to watch. 29,300 basically, 29,400. Keep an eye on this zone. It's a zone we watch. Yesterday, we rejected that zone again quite nicely. Again, even though my level was at 29,311, we were pretty much smack bang on that area. So again, you just got to be keep an eye on the zones rather than levels. When I put these lines in, it's just, to me, I see a line, but what I really see is something like that. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I don't want to put boxes in because it makes it cluttered, but level lines is just what I want to see. So levels for today, I like the rejection of 29. If we retest that area, I like it short, and that will continue this kind of downtrend. Again, if we can have a candle or a couple of candles that take out pre-market low and yesterday's low, look for the break and retest back into that zone. 28,600, 28,500 and 28,400 are psychological numbers in there. I prefer the round numbers like 29, 28, 27,000. So just be wary of those areas. Can I see something? We're zooming out. We've got our neckline, we've got our volume shelf. If we lose yesterday's low, the next big volume shelf is not until we get back down into this zone here. And that's around, here we go, 28,000. We talked about that as well. So let's put that in as a level because we're now, I like to clean up my levels and sometimes you just need to put them back in again. So 28,000 is a big area to watch for potential bounce. There's not the massive amount of volume down here as we saw when we were up here. So if we may even lose 28. The biggest area of volume is there, around 27, is that? 26 at 800, 27. But you can see quite clearly down here, that big area of confluence, 25,000. So that's a potential target if we do have a bit of a sell-off. Again, head and shoulders pattern. Did we see this head and shoulders pattern set up? This is a bit more defined than ES. And we broke it and we're now retesting it. So we could look for shorts, continuation of that trend line, and it's a break and retest of this very lopsided head and shoulders pattern. The right shoulder is not quite as defined. If I go to ES, I suppose you could say, yeah, I suppose ES has got the same format. I like to see a clearer right shoulder. And we broke it. We came back, retested it a couple of days in a row. So I like trend continuation with NASDAQ and ES at the moment. So we're still holding this neckline area. So while we're in that zone, just got to be a bit wary. But I do like the breakdown under yesterday's low in that direction. Sorry, that's NDX, NQ. So NQ is a bit more messy, a bit noisier. NDX is basically the equivalent of SPX. It shows you it's a bit cleaner, that chart. I've got it delayed for something. I'm not sure why it's delayed feed. So maybe someone I'm not subscribed to, which is why I've not really been looking at. We don't really care on these analysis, so I don't really look at it real time anyway. I don't understand why SPX is not delayed, but NDX is. This is probably my TradingView subscription, so I'm not subscribed to. But it doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter if it's 15 minutes delayed because we're looking at it on a daily time scale anyway, and hourly. So for me, this is our neckline we just talked about. and we are retesting it. So if we get below yesterday's low, I like it short into that 28,000. I think that's pretty much it for NQ. QQQ, we've got 7 minutes before the market opens. QQQ really clear as well. We've got this big volume shelf, that zone there. We broke through it. We kind of we came back down into this lower volume area, and then we retested that volume shelf, come back down, retested it again today. Are we able to creep through that area? 700 is a big psychological number, or are we going to reject? For me, I like trend continuation. We've broken an uptrend. We're kind of putting in this now daily or hourly downtrend. We can now say that because we've broken that neckline and we're below. Oil next is green and still sitting in this zone. So for me, there's not much of interest to me at the moment. If we can get out of this area, retest long, I like it to retest the backs, so that's the tops of that zone. If we lose pre-market low, I like it for a break and retest short, and that'll be losing this bear flag. So that's the only plays I like. Below 88.63 and over 91, and we obviously we can just try and scrap that one out. But we are inside yesterday's range as well. Gold is still nosediving. It had a big red day yesterday. Came back, retested the confidence area. A level notice as well. We had 41.35. Look where we bounced yesterday at that area before we finally lost it. Came back, rejected it twice. So that's still a key area. 41.35 for the rejection. If we lose pre-market low, notice decline in volume as well as prices going up. I like this for a short under pre-market low, under 40,078. So break and retest short into 4,000. 4,000's a bounce area. Again, you've got to go with the trend. It's easier to go with the trend than it is to go against the trend. Good morning, Mayo. Welcome back. RTY next. That trend line still being held, roughly being held. We had a bit of a breakout there. Notice the breakout was on lower volume that day. So again, that's a fake breakout, typical fake breakout, and then we just sold off. How many people would be holding a bag up here at 29, which literally at all-time highs, then see that the next day? And look at the reaction we had to that volume shelf. Now you know why we watch volume shelves. We've got a big volume shelf, big area of confidence. You don't need to draw these volume profiles into the left here to see where the volume will be, because you can just see where the confidence is. We bounced once, we bounced twice. We haven't really got into that zone. We're not quite down there yet, but we're keeping an eye on that 28,000 for another reaction. So let's see what happens when we get back down there. While we're smack bang inside yesterday's range, previous 1, 2, 3, 4 days range on here, it's going to be a tough trade, but we can hold that trend line. Maybe watch for rejection off of 28.80. But for me, nothing for me on this trade today. I don't like it when it's inside this zone. If it breaks pre-market low, yesterday's low, I like it for the short into that zone. If we break pre-market high, I like it long into yesterday's high, and that's about it really. YM is looking much better. Look at this for a change of trend. We got the trend line, we got the neckline there roughly. We broke that neckline, we came back up and we retested it yesterday. So keep an eye on yesterday's high, 50,800 for the rejection up in this zone. Otherwise, let's clear that. I'm not a big fan of going long into that trend line, but we can keep an eye on a scalp over pre-market high, but also watch that area for rejection. We've got the big volume shelf to the left, so this is a zone to watch here. Otherwise, below pre-market low, I like it short into that big volume shelf below. Big area of confidence, 49,800 to 49,500, that zone there for the bounce. And then finally, Bitcoin, if we've got a bit of time, yeah, I want to talk about Bitcoin for a second. Something Ron was talking to me about the other day, and I kind of looked into this a little bit. We got our downtrend, we got our potential bear flag, and I'm calling it a bear flag, and I'm going to go into the reason why I think this might be a bear flag rather than a bounce. We got break below yesterday's low. I like that short into 60,000. If we get above pre-market high, I like it long, but I'm not interested while it's inside. Let me go to the weekly. I might take some screenshots and talk about it tomorrow. But Ron was talking about this, and so I looked into it. And Bitcoin, if you measure and this is what I looked in. I looked up online. There's a few other people who have these videos and these charts open as well. We've got 2 minutes, so I'll just quickly go into it. If you take the low and draw in the high, apparently that is roughly about 1,000 days. I'm sure Ron knows what we're talking about. And then when you take the high down to the short, that's roughly 360 days. And if you go through all of history, that same pattern plays out. I'm not going to draw it now. I'm only roughly doing it. I'll find the charts I was looking at. And the reason I say that is we've still got half a year. We've only done about 200 days on the current cycle. And these cycles go through history. On Bitcoin, you can see them clearly here with the 1,000 days. I think it's 1,100 and then 360 days afterwards. And we're still halfway through the 360-day pullback. And so potentially, if we were to say that pattern continues at 360 days, we could be getting back down into this 30,000 area. So that's something to be wary of. I'll find the graphics, but it's really interesting to see that. And obviously, there's no signs here that we're bouncing, by the way. Other than we're just taking scalps down here until we start breaking trend lines. So that could be a theory in play. So we could be looking around 30,000. So although I have been topping up down here, here we go. Ron says 1,060 days long, 364 days short, exactly. And when we were talking about that a couple of days ago, I kind of looked into it, and I forgot to mention this yesterday, but I'll bring up the graphics and I'll show you later. But it's really interesting. And it also means that we're nowhere near, I think this is what Ron was saying, we're not near a recovery at the moment, potentially, despite seeing this neckline there, a big area of confluence. Again, look at this. We've got head and shoulders patterns within shoulder patterns, head and shoulder pattern, head and shoulder pattern, another head and shoulders pattern. Are we looking at another head and shoulders pattern? Maybe. So just putting it out there. The market's now open. Let's go back to ES. But it's quite interesting. I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole last night looking into that. So just to recap, levels, I like to see it break below pre-market low. This is an area I like to see a bounce, 7,300. So I'm looking for a bounce in this area. So I'm actively looking for a bounce. I want to see buyers take control. I'm not interested yet because we've got a negative delta and we've got a lack of buyers at the high. We've got a delta flip as well from a weak positive delta to a big aggressive selling delta. So if we can take over, I'm not interested in going long while we're in this downtrend on this footprint chart. We've got a delta flip here, but again, not interested in going long yet. Price is selling off, delta's coming in now, so now it's looking good for a long. But I'm not going to take it without confirmation. Look at this is interesting. Price is selling off, delta, buyers coming in. So we've got a divergence right now. So we've got buyers or sellers absorbing all these buyers at the moment. So either one or the other is going to win, and that's what we're waiting for. Let me just make sure I've got my eval account turned off. That's when I pass. So I don't want to be playing that yet. That's off. Ron says he's buying small amounts at each new level lower in case he's wrong. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's what I'm going to do, something similar as well. I topped up again today as well. Basically on my Revolut account, which is if you want to find a quick and easy way to buy Bitcoin or any crypto or any stocks, Revolut is great. I think there's a link in the description below. But if you click on that, I think we both get £50 or $50 or whatever. So a little bit for me, a little bit for you. But if you, in my Revolut account, I've got it set to buy every single day, every single week, about $50, $60, and then I add my own into it when I'm looking to add at levels. So it's always buying no matter what happens. So here we've got a delta flip, followed by a lack of sellers. Notice that bottom candle minus 18. Sellers came back in. So we've got aggressive buyers coming in, but the price is selling off. So a big divergence. What's Nasdaq's just selling as well, and that's no divergence on Nasdaq. So 7,300 is an area I'm watching for. I don't really want to go long below that. Well, I won't go long below it. So we've got to be over 73 because it's a psychological number. Here we go. Lack of sellers in that last candle. Buyers taking control. 229 delta. A small neutral delta on that last candle as well. What's our large orders? Didn't talk about them. We haven't got anything at 7300. 7340 next big order above, and 7255 below. So way off. So small negative delta. We want to see the buyers come in on these candles now. So I'm looking to go long. As soon as we break 300, I want to see it close over basically 301. Buyers at the top of this candle is a good sign. So I do like the long still over 73. I'm not going to go long I'm not going to go long into it. It goes against my rules of going long into psychological numbers. So sellers came back in on that candle, but buyers are back here again. Look at the delta now. So be great to see price break the 2-minute trend. That's another confirmation. So we're looking for the most amount of confirmations for a long. Obviously, if we start getting selling coming in like we're seeing now, then that play won't be valid anymore. But we wait for this candle to complete. We're coming into pre-market low area. We're taking out the low of the day. Another buy delta down here, or buy a delta flip. So we've got negative delta into a positive delta and then a positive delta afterwards. Ideally, what we're looking for is aggressive buyers coming in on the divergence or the cumulative delta. We're looking for buying imbalances, lack of sellers. There's lack of sellers down here for the first time. Only 3 aggressive sellers on the bid. Only 1 aggressive seller on the bid on the next candle, and here we're taking it back out again. So we are at pre-market low. So this can act as 2 places. Potentially we can watch it for a bounce, or we can wait for a break and retest short. And that will be going with the trend. Look at the delta now. The delta is now invalidated. So it's taken out. Well, we're waiting for this candle to close. This candle closes then, and it's broken below that delta, then it's invalidated. But the volumes, remember yesterday we had really bad volume, like 200, 150. Look at this, we've got 1400, 1700, 1500, 800, 2100, 500. So a lot more volume coming in, which is better. This is what we want to see. Are we seeing about a lack of sellers coming in now? Minus 71, minus 72, plus 20. Buyers are coming in now. There's a buyer delta flip. Again, we don't take these without confirmation. Craig says, my 40-tick NQ footprint is moving too fast. I've not even opened up my NASDAQ yet. Here we go, over 300. I'll be looking for a long very shortly. I don't want to take it after 5 candle, green candle. I want to see a bit of a pullback like now. So can I take it long into that 7,300? Only on aggressive buyers. So I'm going to go long right now into 73, but only because I've got buyers coming in. Look at the aggressive buyers coming in now. Big push up. We're over at 73. Oh, that's 10 ticks. Are we going to hit my 20 tick? Let me open up my NASDAQ. So back at the break even area. Look at this. So we had a selling delta flip. I'm not a big fan of seeing that big delta here. Let's see whether buyers take it. We've still got buyers on the delta, so I still like it. Buyers, look at all these buyers coming in now. Let's see whether the buyers actually don't get absorbed by these sellers. The sellers absorbing all this buying pressure at the moment. Look at that. And we see that we had over 200, 300 delta, and it dropped down to 50. Okay. And the buyers taking this. So buyers are still here. I still like this long. We're right at that 7,300. Let's hope we can get back over 73. There's no big orders sitting at 73. Here we go, we're back over 7,300. Oh, we tried. There's definitely some sellers sitting here. We're back over. So small delta at 73. So there's a neutral area now. Here we go. Are we going to hit 20 ticks? Be nice if we do. Buyers, deltas. So there's the delta and the buyer now in line with each other. It's hard. It's not getting the follow through we want here. Nasdaq sold off. Big bottom tail candle on Nasdaq that was. And here we go. And I've stopped out at 20 ticks. So that's my stop. So keep an eye on this. We're still holding this area. I still like it long, so I'm going to keep an eye on that over 73. So I think that's a small loss. Not even sure if I got my P&L open. About a $200 loss on that. And that's why I like taking the first 10 ticks. How about this? We've got a line point control. We've got a lack of buyers at the high. We're coming into pre-market low as well. I'll happily flip my bias if we break pre-market low. Opening range is now taken out. It's now set up. How long we got there? 5 minutes for the opening range is here, but this could be if it holds pre-market low, then maybe that could be a double area we can watch for the what's we're looking for the ORB. Got lots of buyers and sellers on this bottom candle. Delta is still looking relatively strong compared to the price. Let's go back in. So nothing exciting at the moment here. We're holding that pre-market low area, 72.88. We're very small deltas, but we've got volume. There's lots of volume in these candles. Unlike yesterday, we had lack of volume. So we're breaking pre-market low now. So for me, I like the break and retest back in. So I'm looking for a short. We kind of briefly retested it. We've got negative delta coming in as well. I'm going to go short now. Are we going to see the short? So we had a very weak buying candle at that low, only 39 delta. Is it gonna go? We've got aggressive sellers coming in, we can see that. Small positive delta, so still looks good for a short round here. I like it below this pre-market low. Okay, that's my 10 tick stop. And I'm probably going to tighten this up. Look at this, another negative delta. I still like it short. And I will look to add as well. If we do get back into the green, or it's going to probably stop me out. Look at this, this is hard. So buying imbalance at the high, small positive delta. It's moving pretty fast at the moment. So this could be the break and retest. Maybe I was in a little bit early. So back in the green on this. Buyers taking control. We saw sellers at the low of this candle. We've got negative delta. Just want to see delta put in a new low, and that'll be following price then. Or price will be following delta. Here we go, this looks better for the short. So my first 20 tick target, because I've been stopped out at 10 tick. Here we go, we're just not getting that follow through we really want. First big positive delta coming in. Are we going to get follow through? Be nice to get down to that 20 ticks, and then that'll be I'll be at break even then. So only 5 aggressive buyers at the top of this candle, 12 here. Volume, still got volume. We've got plenty of volume in here. Okay, so it looks like it's going to stop. Or we could just, by the skin of my teeth, still in. Look at that, aligned point control, 72.89. So a big positive delta followed by a big negative delta. So this is a delta flip here. This is a tough move right now. I'm not a big fan of it in either direction while it's doing this. Doesn't want to say who wants to take control. I still like it short under this pre-market low area. The orb will be in the next few minutes as well. We've got a minute and a half. So, you know, if we break that align point control, it's probably going to stop me out anyway. 72.89. And we stop. There you go. Okay, that's a tough move. And then buyers are back in. So look at the aggressive buyers coming in now. So now, again, we can keep an eye on that long over 73. I do quite like this actually. We've bounced off pre-market low. We've got aggressive buyers coming in. We've got lots of buying on these candles. I'm going to go find one more long right now into 73. That'll be my target. And I'm only playing my PA accounts. I'm down about $500 at the moment. That's roughly what I want to take for the day. And it's probably not going to work. You know what? These are days when you just avoid. I'm going to finish this trade off. Then this will be my last trade. Just not going in the direction we want. Look at all these aggressive buyers coming in, and then it just stalls, and I'm out again. So another $200 loss. So what's that, about $550, $600 down for the day. Craig says my 40 tick is moving to that one. I see some consultation at 72.80, and I like the long from there. NQ's holding VWAP. Here you go. NQ is definitely holding, yeah. Seems to be extra volatile today, the market. So we've got decline in delta on here. So I still like it long while we're above this pre-market low. We've still got 3,200 above. We've got bottom tail after bottom tail on NASDAQ, by the way, on the 15-minute. This is the long I wanted. This is what didn't happen. How annoying. Buying imbalance. Now this looks better. Buying imbalances. If we get over 300, I'm going to find one more entry. I don't want to take it on 4 candles though. I want to see this pullback candle. I want to see a candle coming back. Here we go. So now I'm looking for a long over that last red candle. Small negative delta. I'm long. And then the aggressive buyers come in. Do you know what? I'm going to... Okay, I'm done. Something funny happened in the market there, so I'm definitely done because it says I've got open P&L, so I'm going to start closing things. Apparently I'm still long, so not everything closed. So let's just watch it for a second. So we're coming into the orb high. So I'm just flatten because something not quite right with the account. Look at this. I got stopped out way over here. It's not even lined up with the chart. So I'm not quite sure what's really happened. I'm just checking my rhythmic. So I did like the long over 33. My play was right, but it's not quite sure what happened here. So I'm just going to sit back now. I'm not going to get involved. NASDAQ had a big candle. I didn't see there's any news events. In fact, looking at my chart, 9:47, I'm out by about a minute. So whatever just happened, I've only got this one footprint chart running. Just see if it's the same on the other. 9:48, 9:49, 9:49. Yeah, so my live stream on the other stream is working fine. It seems to be just this machine. So it's caught up now. Look at that, it's weird, isn't it? My entries are well out. So hopefully somebody took that and they didn't have an issue with their platform. I'm not quite sure what happened. I did take a long, by the way, on NASDAQ during all of that, and it ended up $500. So that wasn't too bad. That's on my top step. I got in at the same time, but I'm not overly happy with the platform. Still out by about 30 seconds. It's almost like so much data came in, NinjaTrader couldn't process it, but it's got to be something to do with my platform, because my trader rate, or the rhythmic, because trader rate, which I'm running on the other live stream, kept up and all the data was processed. So I'm going to hold off for a bit now. But something's happening in the market. Not sure what. Anyone knows, let me know. In the comments. 212 news. The UAE and Iran are said to have met face to face to ease tensions, which makes sense. Yeah, Ron says that makes sense. Breaking bar on NQ. Let's go to my NQ. Oh yeah, well, it's gone now as well. It's already been broken and entered. So this is my ORB on TradingView. So that's the breaking bar. Was that a massive big topping tail? And Andrew's jumpy PA, hands off for me. Yeah, good. And then created I overtrade again, down 400 unfunded. So now it's time to walk away. Remember we said about treating these counts with respect. This is your income now. So it's not an eval account. So you need to now walk away. There's another day tomorrow. So I think we're pretty much caught up now. 52. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It took all that time. Just slows right down. I did build this not live. It's never live because we're always slightly behind real time. But I will review this back later and see how far behind we got, because this little orange bar at the bottom tells me how many seconds behind it gets. And it's just a warning for me not to trade when it goes behind. So NASDAQ's on fire. And I wish I never come out of my NASDAQ early. I got out, I scalped it for about 500. I think I'm up Okay, $698 on NASDAQ, so that's not too bad. So we've got a bit of a win today. And I'm glad to say my 7,300 level was spot on as well. We broke it, we came back and retested it. I tried to get in on that area, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe I should switch my data to TradeZella. Try that on here. Seems to be whenever we get high volatility, it just slows right down. This is rhythmic. What data does other people use? Do they use rhythmic, TradeZella? Let me know. Just interested. And did anybody have any issues with their data coming in? Or on rhythmic, that is. So we're coming up into Premarket. You can see some big orders sitting up here as well. Those red bars. 73, 40 area. Craig, here you go, Craig. This is a comment, so don't be offended by this. One comment above, you said I've overtraded again, down 400 on a funded. Then your next comment, I may short 29,000 last trade. So you're either over trading or you're not. If it's in your plan, short 29,000, with confirmation, of course. But if it's not in your plan, and if you've already stated that you're over traded, you probably need to think about walking. Who cares whether 29,000 rejects? You know, tomorrow's another day. Let's just keep the account, your live account, running as long as possible. And I agree with 212 as well. Don't pick the tops, very dangerous. Yeah. It may reject, it has rejected 29, but you just don't know. That's an area. It's like catching a falling knife. Really, really difficult. Unless you've got a strategy for it and it's been back tested and you can confirm it's a good strategy. Like even right now, there's no long play because it's really overextended. Massive big green bar. As much as I want to try and catch this long up, I won't go long into pre-market high. I might do a break and retest. You need some pullback. So let's open up my rhythmic. Yeah, so I'm officially down about $550. Some accounts are a bit less, some accounts are slightly more. And that's me, I'm done. I'm gonna live another day. If you do insist on trading, then what I do recommend is going straight over to your sim or paper trade account. Doesn't matter if you don't make money, at least you were in it and you can say, right, my ideas were right. And that's why I'm not too fussed about me not getting this 7,300. You know, I nailed that number, and my numbers are pretty much generally spot on. My execution wasn't that great, and I just got whipped out, keeping a very tight stop. But that's part of scalping. Also, knowing that value is spot on is just as good as having a winning trade, because then I can use that and it just gives me confidence going forward, knowing that my levels generally work really well. 212 says, didn't get any trades today. No big deal. It's a news headline move. Let it go without me. Yeah, I agree. There's always another trade set up to get. Indeed, 100%. I said, it doesn't matter if you think there's a level and it's going to work. I think it's just more important. It may work this time. So I'm talking to Craig now. That 29,000 was a nice rejection, by the way. But there was no confirmation at 29,000 other than it being a psychological number. Also, it may have worked. It may work today, but tomorrow it may not work. So it's good to get into really good habits, as in like sticking to a plan, whether it works or not, because that's how you hold on to accounts longer. That's how I held on to my other paid accounts from like November last year until a few weeks ago, because I stuck strictly to my rules, didn't overtrade. I did a little bit some days, but I walked away when I knew it was time. But I generally stuck to my rules and stuck with confirmation. The moment I stopped sticking to my rules is when I blew all my accounts, when I overtraded. And generally that's what happens. And it wasn't even bad trading. I just overtraded, had a couple of big losing trades. Not big, normal like 2-3 hour losing trades when I'd only want to lose 1 hour a day. Come back the next day, especially when I'm trading ES free contracts, and your trading drawdown gets used up. You can go almost, I think I was up like $800 green. It came back and stopped me out at break even. That's $800 of trading drawdown. So it's really, really tough. That's why I take small profits and take small losses now, because I don't want my trading drawdown to be triggered. So I am literally sitting on hands right now. I know I say that every day. So, assuming I don't go with this break and retest of the orb, which is looking a little bit juicy if it sets up, then I will end today on a red day. First red day of the week, but a small red day. That's the important thing. Small red days, big green days. So we're retesting this 73.10, 73.15 area. If I were to take a break and retest of this orb, it would have to be a break, a green candle and a break of a red candle. So I don't really want to take the orb on a break of this big red candle, because that's a massive big candle. 73.15 to 45. That's a 20-point risk. And that only lets me, if I wanted to risk $100, that's one contract of MES. $400, that's only 4 contracts if I'm risking $400. And then you've got the 15-minute moving, 200 moving average above as well. And it's in a downtrend. And you're going long into pre-market high. And you're going long into those big orders we can see on my level 2 orders there. 425 sitting at 73.39 to almost 600 in that area. So there's more reasons not to take the long over that red candle than there is to take the long. That's my take of it. But then with the market how it is, who cares about levels? It seems to just break through them all anyway. So if I were to scalp this break and retest at 73.15, would we have found a confirmation down there? I did look at it a second ago thinking it might have been a good entry, but I didn't really want to go over trading in it. I'm going to zoom in. Where was it down here? So we had a positive and big negative and then a small positive buying imbalances, a small pullback with no follow through. It wasn't looking that great anyway. Okay, this could have been the entry actually. Positive delta and negative delta with no follow through on the next candle, but only 3 aggressive buyers. Probably would have found it hard. The line point control would have been something that would have had me licking my lips. Big positive delta buying imbalances, no follow through with all these selling imbalances. So that's an interesting area. So big 320 delta with no follow. And then a green candle. So buyers absorbed the sellers in that candle. And then it took off. So maybe the break of that candle would have been the entry. 73.23. Wouldn't have been a good, it wouldn't have been the ignition we're looking for. 31.94. And then a small positive delta. But it would have worked. Bit of a grind up. Put us back to where we are now. Ron says the play was on the 2-minute chart. Oh, the break and retest. Okay, yeah. I generally only use 2 just to see the trend. I use the 5 as my main entry. That's my only entry. So 5 and this tick chart. Bit of an extreme, isn't it? Go from a 5-minute chart all the way down to a 10-tick chart, a 10 range chart. The 2-minute chart, we can see big buying bubble there. So we had hardly any sellers, lots of buyers, but that means there was passive sellers. So we know that because it sold off on a red candle. But that's also an area of potential support. So NQ, how did that do? Andrew says NQ is a nice break and retest of pre-market high. Let's go into that for a second. Oh, look at that. That's on the 5. I generally don't trade the 2, but yeah, the 2 looks better. One thing I didn't look at is volume. Small selling candle, relatively wide range candle. Look at the size of that candle. So that's a good confirmation as well. So breakout over pre-market high into yesterday's high. That's that zone I said to keep an eye on today. 29,400. And again, it's tough long on ES. If you break pre-market high, you've got the 50 moving average above. Then you've got that trend line. And then you've got that level I was watching as well, which is that area of confidence at 73.65. Yeah, it would be a tough long. That's why the only long I liked today was the bounce, and I had it marked up on this chart. Big area of confidence. Notice yesterday's volume shelf. I didn't talk about yesterday's volume shelf. So while we're just waiting for something to do, that volume shelf there at a level 7,300. Notice where we came in. We bounced once, twice yesterday. Then we rejected it. Then we rejected it. Then we got rejected it a second time and broke through, bounced. And we bounced in the pre-market and we bounced again in the pre-market. That's why I liked it for the bounce today, long over 73. And then again, I'm not a big fan going long into this zone, to be honest. We do have this volume shelf as well, yesterday's volume and the previous day, and that's the main volume area as well. So that's the reason I'm not a big fan. That's why I didn't want to take it as a scalp long. Definitely one. If it works, it works. That's why I like the 5-minute. Less noise. But look at this. This is a potential flag setting up, although we do have a higher high there. Notice the delta, really thin deltas. So that means not the conviction from the sellers we wanted. So maybe a long looks good still. Right. So we've seen a bit of a delta flip. Buyers are coming in on the delta. Could this be a long? Right, Craig, now it's definitely time to walk away. Craig says he's down 800, so walk away. Shut your platform down. Export your trades today into your journal and look at them, study them, make some notes. Write down exactly why you're down 800. You know, was that over trading? We know that was true. Did you have, how many confirmations did you have of each trade? Did you have the levels in place? Did you have the plan in place before you started? Did you just jump in on the second trade or the third trade immediately after the first trade? Or are you revenge trading? So you need to go through all that. And then it's difficult taking it all out of your strategy, all out of your mind. But tomorrow, work on just one of those items. If you can work on one, that'll make you 5-10% better than you were today. And then work on another one next week. Just plan, work on one item from your tags from your journal. Really important, really, really important. And I didn't have anyone telling me this when I was trading, so I had to work it out the hard way. And I lost over $50,000, probably more than that if I really went and looked it up. Before I realised I need to have a strategy, I need to have a plan, I need to have education. Andrew says, and make sure you note what triggered you to break a rule. Yeah, 100%. You can then build a plan or idea to avoid breaking rules. 100%. So don't just read his comments and go away and ignore it. Really, really do. This is probably the best. This is better than you passing a trading account, this information, this knowledge right now. Coming from people who's been there and done it themselves. You know, we've been in that position. We've overtraded. I still overtrade, but you have to know when to walk away. So I'm not sure if you're still here. If you're still here, give me a thumbs up or something. This is better advice than you pay thousands and thousands of dollars on these online courses, by the way, and it's totally free. He says he's still here, $1,000 down. Okay, definitely walk now. Take a break. I'm not sure there is a thumbs up. I think I just said that. In fact, I've got one on my chat. Here we go. I'm pretty sure I can do thumbs up. That's what I thought you might have. I've got a little chat icon. Next to my chat is a little emoji icon. Maybe that's because I'm a admin or something. I thought everyone had that. Maybe not. But anyway, I know you're still here. Hopefully you listen to the comments. Like I said, this is valuable from Andrew, from Ron, from myself, 212, everyone. Oh yeah, Mayo's got it. Yeah, okay, brilliant. Yeah, it took me ages finding that. It's right. When you see it, it's there. But if you don't see it, but this is good quality advice, and I mean that. I never had any of this advice when I started out, and as I said, I lost way over $50,000. I'm not even going to work out how much. And that's when I realised I needed to educate myself. And it wasn't a quick process. You know, some people get it straight away. Here's the break and retest of orb, by the way. We've got good positive delta, small negative delta, big push, a line point control, so we're below that, so still not a long for me. And that's the reason it's not long. Look at that line point control. It played again. We broke it, came back, retested it briefly. Selling imbalances. And if we get onto that orb midpoint, it's definitely an invalidated break and retest. Probably is already now. So going back to your $1,000 down, Craig, as well. Tomorrow or maybe Monday will be better. Come back Monday, fresh mind after a nice weekend. Reduce your risk size. So assuming you've had 3 trades today and you're risking $350 per trade or whatever it is, $300, or you've had 4 trades, you're risking $250, that's too much. So reduce your risk right down. Make it $100 per trade, and that you've got, assuming it's an Apex 50, you've got $2,000 drawdown, you've got $1,000 left. And if you reduce your risk to $100, that gives you 10 losing trades before you blow the account. So I would just do that from now on, from tomorrow. So $100 risk, and if you've got your strategy, if your strategy's in place, you're never going to lose 10 in a row. Even if you did 50-50, you're not going to lose 10 in a row unless you're really unlucky. You just literally chose a direction. So assuming you've got $1,000 drawdown left on your account, go with the $100 risk max, or even $50 risk. Just trade one contract of MES or something like that. You forgot to place a stop. Okay, so that's another entry for your journal. So another entry. You can put it down to a trading error, didn't put stop, or moved your stop, or didn't put your stop in place. Put that, but make sure you log that as well. As you see on my platform, 100%, I get into a trade, my stop is always there. I'd rather have a stop that's too tight than not have one at all. So we're seeing a bit of a divergence here. We've got price selling off, but Cumulative Delta is kind of holding. Well, to be fair, the last 3 candles are held on the price as well. We're at the midpoint, but that break and retest is now invalid. If we're looking for a long, has to be another ORB breaking that 15-minute range. So a Delta divergence play could be on as well. If we see a big green candle breaking and a 2-minute break-in trend, then we might have a nice long. Or we just continue with a downtrend, that 2-minute. So could we have found a rejection? There's first signs of rejection, +8, lack of buyers, +8, -13, only 5 aggressive buyers at the high, not many sellers at the low on the green, and then we had only 1 aggressive seller, 1 aggressive buyer. Yeah, very light volume at the moment on these last few. Maybe there we could have found it when we saw that big delta, 3 green reds in a row. We probably could have found a rejection here. I do like looking at footprints just to see whether I could have found a continuation play or a rejection. Again, I've taken my 2 trades for the day, I'm done. But I like to look at trades and kind of predict them. This is as good as sim trading when I'm watching. Make notes as well. I sometimes write down the time on my platform and then I can come back and watch the video later. In fact, I've got a little item. I'll show you what it looks like at my end on these streams when I stream YouTube. There's nothing sensitive on there, I don't think. No, I don't mind. Just bring it in. This is what it looks like on my YouTube stream. Got these up the top here, add stream markers. So I can add a stream marker and I can come back to that later when I can download it into YouTube, come back to it later and I can review that area and see what's going on. So yeah, so there you go, that's what I use. but you can just write down the number. These streams are live, are not live. They stay on YouTube afterwards. I don't delete them, so you can go back to any point. So just write down the time and then go back and review the trade, the footprint charts. That's what I do a lot. Oh, I lost my footprint charts down here. Here we go, selling off. So that would have been a nice little sell. 212 says, I want to see 72.60 to 72.80 retest for longs. Let me go back to my hourly chart. Would you say 72.60 to 80? So this zone down here. Yeah, I quite like that area. I would like to see the lows down here retested. There's not a massive amount of volume down here. But yeah, we do have this area here, and I do quite fancy yesterday's low. This area of confluence just along here as a potential bounce. That's 72.80. I think you said 80, didn't you? Yeah. So I would like that to see the bounce down there. That's kind of in my plan. And then 72.50 is a bounce area for me as well. Andrew says, Trappy price, is that Trappy or Crappy or both, are still inside the pre-market zone on ES. Yeah, it's awful. I'm not a big fan of any of this price action right now. 2 on 2 says that could be later in the day and can wait. Yeah, patience. We've been there with patience as well. That's good. Well, we're retesting pre-market low area now. We're back below that 73. So for me, I wouldn't want to go long unless we hit one of those hourly levels with confirmation, or if we get back over that 73. Because look at that 73 area on this 5-minute chart, top left corner. Got my volume profile on the left. This is where all of the price action's been over the last 2 hours. 7,300 exactly. So why would you want to go long into that volume? That's why we want to see it get out of that volume. That's why I really like the long here today. And obviously, whatever happened when the platform, I made about $100 out of that. But I'm not sure what happened because I got whipped out. Here we go, back over 300 or coming close to it. Quite low volume at the bottom here. And the only big volume candle we had, 1,000 contracts, a neutral delta -8. So is this a divergence play here? We've got green data coming in. The 2-minute was teasing the break of this 2-minute downtrend. Wouldn't that be good if we can break over 7,300 and we break the delta? This might be a good long. And we retest the orb, and we'll be breaking above that orb midpoint, and we'll be breaking that volume shelf. But we will be inside that range, and we will be below the VWAP on the 15-minute ES. So 2 on 2 says 10 minutes until IB, 1 hour is left. Sorry, my terminology is crap. You have to remind what IB stands for. Is that the first hour of the market opening? So over 73, we've got the break of the trend. I might find a long here. If we can pull back a bit, buying and bouncing. Look at this, I like this, lack of selling. I just want to get a little bit of a pullback. I don't want to jump in here. I want to see it pull back. Here we go, this might be the pull. No, not quite the pullback I wanted. We're breaking the trend on the 2 minute. Delta's coming in. Small negative delta. We're over 73. I've probably missed my chance now. Yeah, missed my chance. And again, it's not about jumping in. I'm not going to chase. But look at that for a play. Perfect. Brilliant. And predicted. So again, even if I didn't take the trade, this might be the pullback I'm waiting for. Even if I didn't take the trade, it was still a planned play and it worked. So we've got sellers coming in and buyers coming back again. This could be the pullback I was waiting for. Should I take it? Do I get buyers coming in? Coming back to the test the orb high. Only 2 aggressive buyers in this candle. No, I'm not going to take it. And look at that, and now I'm glad I held off. So you've got red delta. Here we go. So now if we see buyers come back in and we take out that 15 area, I might look for a long. But look at this delta though, not aggressive buyers really. So just hold off. The initial play was at 7,300 again. There you go. That's twice today I missed it. How annoying. But hey ho. So this could be the long here I like. Buyers, buyers. Buyer divergence. Over the orb. Oh, I'm a bit late in, but I'm going to go for a long. Big positive down that last candle. So I'm in over trading territory now, and I've just been stopped. Look at that. How hard is this? Buyers are here. Price is not. So I'm going to tighten up. I don't need to tighten up if I stop out. Here we go. Lack of sellers, but the price is just bouncing. Done. Right. Over trading, and I'm definitely done now. How annoying is that? So, but it is what it is. I could have saved myself a couple $100 by not taking that. We are breaking and retesting orb right now. Small negative deltas, bigger negative delta, so it puts me to about $700 to $800 loss. I think I took a $200 loss in that last one. So that's it. I'm definitely done. I'm not going to overtrade. It's 3 trades now. What was NASDAQ doing? Sitting there as well. Topping tail, yeah, it's not nice. So, you know what? I'm not a big fan of the price action, so I will probably be calling it a day shortly. And look at the comments. Craig says I can bounce back next week, 100%. Take the rest of the week off. With 150 stop loss, that gives me 7 trading days to make up this 1k loss if I do 1 setup a day. Yeah, that's not a bad way to think of it. Or I wouldn't even think about making up the $1,000 loss. I'd just think about finding your next good trade and just trading well. Don't ignore what you've got in your account. I don't even look at my P&L. So I would just keep your P&L shut, just have decent stop loss, decent risk to reward, and find the A++ setups only. Maybe take 1 trade, maybe take 2 trades, but don't think about the $1,000. You don't need to make it up. You just need to trade properly. So I would more ignore the fact you're making up losses. You're actually just trading, and you're trading your A+ setups only. So that's how I would think of it. So that's what I would do if I were you. Just make sure your stop is the right place. And definitely don't forget your stop loss. Put an automatic stop in. So if you, as soon as you enter, it automatically puts your stop in. So maybe that's your goal for the weekend, to work out how to put your automatic stop in. Because that's the most important part. You know this is going to work now. The market saw what I wanted to do. He said, no, I'm going to stop you out, then I'm going to blow the top. But it's horrible, this price action. Back to where I tried my entry earlier. Still lack of sellers, lack of buyers on the bid, on the ask comment. News tomorrow. Let's have a look. So, tomorrow news is, you got consumer sentiment at 10 AM. That's the medium volatility. Oh, that's my son coming in from school. So this divergence play could still be in play, by the way, because we've got Delta putting in higher highs, price putting in lower lows, kind of in line with each other. Look at this. So Delta buyers are still here. That's why I still like the long. Only while we're over the 7,300 area. Got a buyer Delta here. 153 Delta. Small volume candle though. Just holding this area. Definitely some buyers coming in. And then Nasdaq's doing the opposite at the moment. Nasdaq's Delta is looking like the price, whereas ES Delta looks like it wants to break out. Oh. My doorbell. So look at this. 2 minute lower lows or lower highs. 2 minute Delta, higher highs. Over 73. So I'm outside my hour I want to trade now, so I'm not going to be trading anymore anyway. And I'm probably going to be calling it a day. Took a couple losses, a small win, end of the day down about 2R. In fact, I'm taking smaller risk at the moment, so it's probably about 3R. Well, it should be about 2.5, something like that. Protect your PA accounts. Does it bother me I'm down? Not really. It's one of those days. Generally I have red-green days anyway, so I'm not too fast. Taking the red days, I used to get really annoyed over trade, revenge trade, but I don't anymore. I'm annoyed I missed that 7,300 twice. Maybe that affected my trading a little bit. Well, I was trying to find the trades later on. We are back at that 7,300 area now, and I'm definitely not trading. I'm done. Both moves at 73 would have been great. I need like the first chance of it, and maybe the second at a very push. Like now it's the third, fourth time it's been back down there, so I'm not interested in going long here. But look at this Delta Divergence play. This could be setting up quite nicely. Aggressive buyers coming in. Price is kind of putting in lower lows. Delta's putting in higher highs. If we have a big green Delta and a big green price candle, it could be a good long, especially if we hover around this 7,300 area. So I did okay on my NASDAQ, so I ended up just under $698 on NASDAQ today. Not bad when you consider how horrible the market's been. Look at those big topping tails. Two big topping tails since 15. Indecision candle there. So 212 says ES looks like it wants to test the lows. I'm not taking any trade until a setup trend forms. I agree. Here we go. This is that break here. About to happen. But tough inside the range, inside the pre-market, inside the orb. But let's watch, see if it works. I'm not taking this trade, but this is what I would take probably about now. Buying imbalances. This is the entry just here. Break of the 2 minute, big green bar. That would have been 10 ticks. We can get the follow through. I'm not in this trade, by the way. I'm just talking like I would be. I would have taken it on the break of that candle there, and that would have been, as soon as I saw those buying imbalances, I would have got in. Here we go. That would have been pretty much close to 20 ticks. Must have easily, we must have hit 20 ticks. Yeah, about 20 ticks. That's 20 ticks. Because these are 10 tick candles. There you go. That would have been a good trade. I called it live as well. Entry. So that'd be 10, 20, 30, about 40 ticks here. And then we'd have trailed out, probably would have held this area. Probably I would have trailed out exactly on that point of control. So that would be now about 40, about 30 ticks, 20, 40 ticks on that, 40, 60 ticks on that. So do I wish I'd taken it? No, because I said I wasn't going to take any more trades. I've over traded. I've hit my 3 trades. But that worked, and I'll get more out of that knowing it worked than obviously I'd like to take it. It would have got me back to close to the break even for the day, but it doesn't matter. And look at that. And then we reject. How hard is this market? Where's the follow through? Just not anywhere. So on that note, I'm going to call it a day. I will get the link for the ES and NQ order flow, which is in the comments now. Almost now. And I will be back tomorrow. I do appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everyone's comments. And Craig, please take a day off, come back Monday, and just journal your trades today. We'll learn from those red trades. And I will see you tomorrow at 9 AM. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Mayo. Yeah, you will bounce back, but make sure you learn from it. Okay, so A+ setups only, as always, and trade safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.